Guys, before we actually kick off this, and before we actually go, I want to address something very painful going on in our country, which is the war going between India and Pakistan, the shelling which is going, the war which is going. A moment of silence and peace for the land, right? I am against terrorism, I know everybody is, but a little moment of silence to appreciate the warriors and people in defense who are protecting the land, right? जिनकी वजह से आज हम बैठ के probably आराम से अपने AC में podcast कर रहे हैं, सूट पहन के, टाइज पहन के, and we're here. So a moment of silence and appreciation to those who are there fighting behalf of us. So a lot of love, prayer, and hearts for them, right? Awesome. So having said that, let's begin. So Ranaq, first of all, a big thank you and heart from my personal side for taking out time to be with us, right? I know we were going to and fro ki kab aayega Ranaq, kab aayega. I was pumping up everybody that Ranaq will be here on Wednesday. I had sent the message. Some people had sort of agreed to that, or abhi finally we are meeting at 11 a.m. on a Saturday, and I'm super happy with that. Awesome.
Thanks for having me, Lakshit. I'm super excited to do this. And on a weekend, if people are here that so early in the morning, you have a serious bunch of people who are really interested and excited and want to listen, want to participate. I would love questions, guys. I know we'll go back and forth with some questions that Lakshit has. They are more very meta level, but again, after that, I'm around, happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Awesome. Thank you so much for this warm Lee coming to my house and my sort of arena. And I wish I could offer you coffee and all of those, but I will after this.
I have a bottle of water here.
Awesome. So the way Ranaq this works is the first few 3 to 5 minutes we will use to get to know each other, right? So I'll introduce myself. The way we introduce in the community is we tell before, during and after. Simply tell what I was doing before my current situation, where I am today and where I am heading towards, alright? And then I would pass on the mic to you so that you can introduce yourself. Where was your past? How did you become wherever you are? What are you doing today and what's your big goal? If you have a goal? And before that, I just remembered Ranaq just became a father. So congratulations to him on becoming a father. Please guys, again, send hearts and loves and fires and emojis to him for that as well. Alright, and once that is done, we have set of 4 to 5 questions for you, right, which are just related to hiring and not hiring, how you can get hired in the right companies. What are the really awesome techniques to get a job in a tech role, in a digital marketing role? That's what it is. And then in the last 10 to 15 minutes, the full floor will be open for question and answer, where Ranaq will be able to answer all of them. I hope you're okay with this, Ranaq.
Yeah, absolutely. It's lovely.
Awesome. Let's go. First, I'll introduce myself and then I'll give the mic to you. So my name is Lakshit. Bhayana. I'm a basketball player turned performance marketer and now a headhunter exclusively for digital marketers. Okay, and I help digital marketers get a 50 to 60% salary hike using my method CVC. But मैं पैदा ही नहीं हुआ था ये. I wasn't born like this. And if I go very beginning, I've been selling pens from 5th, 6th grade, and karte, I've been a marketer since forever, right? My first experience was in Ladakh, where I stayed for 2 months. I was volunteering with an NGO and I was helping them sell their farm produce. Then I was working at Shune Farms, Himachal mein ek aur organic farm hai, wahan pe bhi I was doing farming, I was selling with them. Then I opened up a sandwich stall where we made a lot of money. And by a lot of money, I meant 5,000 to 6,000 rupees in 2 days, because college mein wo hota hai, right? And did some influencer marketing. The hot girls in college, hum unko bola ki shout out do. And we sold a lot of sandwiches, and with that money we went to Goa and had a lot of fun, right? And then in college, I also started a drop shipping store. Right, where I was selling pet care accessories to people in US, basically China से मंगवा के वहाँ पे भेजे थे. Most of here people will know what drop shipping is. After that, I started working selling electronics on Amazon with my father, but due to some reason that didn't work well. Then what I did was I started my own marketing agency, just like everybody else over here in my community rather. But that's what it is. That worked really well, right? That worked really well. I started earning, ठीक है, अच्छा खासा. As a college person, I was earning 30-40K, right? A month in profit, and I was like, that's good. But I was like, I want to go to the next level. How can I go that? And in my mind back then, I thought that the performance marketers and marketers are only good or only awesome in New York, and that also in a digital marketing agency. So I started applying to I applied to 3,000 places in New York, and during COVID, I got my first job as a digital marketer where my salary was 18 lakh rupees per annum. Right out of मेरे college को भी graduate होने के लिए भी 1 महीना था, and everybody was like, wow, what the hell. Then my second job was in a Chinese company, which was for 27 lakhs, and I was working with them as a growth hacker. And then I got one more as a 35 LPA in a company in Amsterdam. I was like, damn, मैं India में बैठे बैठे, I'm getting such crazy jobs, right? I must have cracked something. So I started helping my friends, my colleagues, and then I turned it into a passion business, right? And now, this is what I do. I also run a recruitment agency because I have to get jobs for my community, right? So I also run a recruitment firm. We also have clients in UAE. Air Arabia is one of our clients, which we signed day before yesterday. I'm very proud of that because it's big for me. So that's what it is. And my biggest goal, which I'm going, is that by December 2025, I want to raise 100 crore rupees worth of job offers for this community, right? And I want to sit one day with Modi ji or the PM that time and solve the hiring problems of India. So that's a little bit about me, and that's why reaching out to you and trying to build a connection with you, a heart to heart, and how you can sort of help us learn from your own experience so that my community can learn and earn and grow from your experience. Again, thank you so much for your time, and the mic is over to you, my friend.
Thank you, Lakshit. That was amazing. That's a very good journey, especially making sandwiches and going to Goa is an amazing hack.
Yeah.
So I'll quickly introduce myself. I also have a very distinct past and a present and hopefully a future because though I'm a head HR now, right? I head people for a company which is incidentally into providing livelihood and jobs for blue collar. It is the largest blue collared job giving platform in the world, in the country. It's called Work India. But prior, and I've been in the world of people for the last decade plus, almost 12-13 years. But I do not come from this background. I am a chartered accountant by profession. My entire family is a CA, so I did CA. Worked for a bunch of years and then realized that one fine day I realized that this is not what I want to do for the rest of my life. Right, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I spent so many years doing CA. I was doing well. I was working at PwC and Airtel, very large companies, making money, doing well. But then extrapolated down to the next 15-20 years, yahi karna hai kya for the rest of my life. I wasn't happy. I just felt like it's not what I want to do. And incidentally, I was looking for a job hunt, as was my friend who was a coder. Both of us were looking out. We were not getting. We were failing miserably. And we saw that referral recruiting was working amazing, right? You know a friend, you give your CV, it works really well. And you're like, bhai, ye to ek amazing tarika hai. Why is there no platform for it? Why is this not scaled, right? Why is it only word of mouth? And then we were young blood, no liabilities, nothing. We just quit our jobs the next day and started building this, right?
Lovely.
Needless to say, I failed, lost all my money there. But the point is, it's not a failure. If I go back in time, I would do that again because that through a lot of chances and serendipity, got me into this world of people, right? And every role that I've got has been, somehow I can tie it back that if I hadn't done that, if I hadn't crashed and burned to the point where I was penniless, like I literally didn't have any money in the bank to buy dinner. I had to call my dad, take money from my dad, and he bought me a ticket to fly me back home. I'm originally from Calcutta. I literally boria bistar park karke, I left the house I was there and just flew back when everything had shut down. Right? Even those points, the lowest points, I didn't give up because I knew that this is going somewhere, and as it did. Right now, I have a very good career. I'm hopefully successful slightly. I haven't reached a lot, but the point that I'm trying to make is not what I've done. The point is many a times, and this is a big India problem that we come from a certain background. Our parents tell us that you have to do this. And we do it without much thought. And then we spend so many years, there's a fallacy called sunk cost fallacy, right? You spend 5, 6, 10 years studying. and you realize कि I don't like it, but यार I spent so many years, इतना मेहनत कौन करेगा? It's
That
okay.
also CA. That also CA. Yeah.
वो तो छोड़ ही दो, that was one of the toughest exams in the world. But wait, the point is, many people tell me that you spend years, like 4 years, 4.5 years studying, and I was interning at PwC, right, which is insane. You left all of that, and like it's okay, you know. It was a sunk cost of 4 years, but then I would not have been as happy as I am at 36 if I had still continued doing that, right? So that's sort of the advice I tell. I don't know your demographic, if they're young people or people set in their careers, but it is never too late to really introspect and see what you want to do, right? If you find out what you want to do in life, you should really have the courage to just chase it. There will be setbacks, it will be difficult in the starting, but then eventually it pans out, right? And don't think about money. There'll be short-term losses with money, but point is, if you find what you really love to do, you're going to be so good at it that people will give you money, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing that most people don't get. But anyway, that was a little about me. Started as CA and turned HR. Now I'm leading HR for a company, and I host a podcast about HR stuff where I talk to leaders. And my passion and where I want to go, I hope we'll put the link somewhere below. But where I want to go is really build a good. Eventually, I do want to get into communities also, but ideally, I want to have an amazing channel where anybody who's interested in the world of HR and the future of HR and jobs and AI now coming into HR, they tune into the channel and they learn, right? I just want to spread this information, give as much knowledge as I can back, and that's how I do it through my LinkedIn and my YouTube. And along the way, I work in multiple companies, and my ultimate goal is that, like, just to spread knowledge. That's why I chose Work India. Work India is a platform which provides jobs, right? We've had stories of people coming from the ruralest of India, and through the platform we were able to give them jobs, right? Which is a very fulfilling thing. That's what the nation wants today, right? Kind of similar to what you have. So yeah, that's a little about me, guys.
Lovely. I'm so happy. I didn't know about this about you. Of course, I knew about Work India. And the reason why I really, first of all, thank you so much for sharing so honestly, bluntly, and unfilteredly, right? That this is what you are and this is where you're going. I didn't know about you that this is your mission as well, right? But before I get on to my next question, we will drop the links of Ranaq of LinkedIn and YouTube. Please follow him, right? He drops dimes, he drops diamond and gold when it comes to knowledge, HR and finding. He has also invited amazing HRs where they have talked about most important things which you all should know. Please go watch it and we'll drop in the links. I'll make sure I drop in the links in my community on the WhatsApp groups as well, so they don't miss out at all. Let's really start, right? When you spoke about AI, I really had one question to talk about AI, but I'm really trying to, I'll really try to follow what we discussed and those questions, and then maybe one question I'll ask about AI.
Yeah, of course.
Right? So the first question is, what do hiring managers look for in a person beyond the technical skills, right? I want to give you a scenario, okay? Now the scenario is, you posted a job or somebody hunted on Naukri or Work India, and 50 people are shortlisted, right? Or let's say 20 people are shortlisted. Okay? Sabke skills same hai. Everybody's skill is same. Everybody has done X, Y, Z. Now what do you look for when you're hiring?
Yeah, I'll break that in two parts, Lakshit. It's a very important question. I'm going to spend some time on this, right? Because I go through hundreds and hundreds of CVs and my team goes through thousands every day. I'll tell you what exactly we look for, right? So there's two parts. Let's break it into the first part where you have applied and there's just a CV, right? And second part is I'll answer about CV ka shortlisting ho gaya and you're doing the interviews, right? So these are the two stages. The first stage is obviously very important, like you said. Like, if you don't even get shortlisted, what is the point, right? So how do you get shortlisted? Now, skills is, like you said, will eventually become a commodity in the future because of what's happening in AI. And I will keep bringing in AI because that is the world we are living in, right? And it won't be justice without talking of AI. And if you're just talking, let's say, tech, right? Now, some people are saying tech jobs will completely go redundant. That's not true. It won't, right? But your ability to code will always remain. But the more you use AI, and a time will come in the future when everybody is using the same thing, right? So your skills are going to be very similar. Now, what do you differentiate, right? If your ability to code, now there's always going to be the top 1%, right? Who are like the mental people, right? Who are geniuses, right? Now let's leave those aside. If somebody is the top 1%, you're great, but most of us aren't that 1.1%, right? Now, if that's a community, how are you standing out? Now, from a CV, real way that people stand out is what are you doing extra that nobody else is doing, right? Now, what do I mean by that? If you are doing, let's say everybody in the school or college does one project, right? They'll do one SUPW project, they'll do one internship, they'll do one something, right? Now, I have come across CVs who've done 10 projects, who've done something crazy like you said, right? They've gone and made some app and sold it in US, right? They have done 2 internships, 4, 5 internships somewhere across, right? Now, what does that show me? I don't care about what you've done, right? Okay, you've done a bunch of stuff. It shows the thing that doesn't get spoken about on the CV, which is the things that are core values to you, right? It is like your bias for action, your hustle, your how much ownership you take, kitna like josh that you have, right? Those are things that will set people apart today. And people who have that cannot be faked, right? Somebody who has a lot of bias for action will spend, let's say, out of the 2 years, the last 6 months, they will go and do 10 things. They will do 5, 6 projects. They'll probably build an app and sell it. It's so easy to make an app today and put it like. So those will become an immediate differentiate. If I see a CV where there's like 10 things this person has done, this person has made so and so money, that's like immediately the person has a lot of bias for action. And today, right, the number one thing the companies are looking for is not your technical skills. That's important. That's table stakes. It's that what are you going to bring extra that somebody else is not bringing, right? And how much hustle do you have? And I'm talking mostly startups, but large companies now also look for that. Somebody who's going to go over and above. You don't have to tell that person to do something. That person will do a bunch of things and come to you, right? Every manager is looking to work with somebody whom you don't have to tell, hey, kiya karo, 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 karo. Nobody likes that. Everybody likes the opposite. The person does and comes and says, hey, how can I help you, right? Every manager wants to delegate, right? Every manager wants to free up their plate.
मेरी headache ले लो आप, मेरी headache ले लो, मेरी सरदर्दी ले लो.
मेरे headache ले लो, I go chill in Bahamas, you do my work for me and come in, sir, आप इसको approve कर दो, right? Now, number one thing is do stuff, right? Now, you cannot really, some people are born with this, some people are born jugards, right? They are born entrepreneurs. But I think it can be imbibed also. Right? If you're just generally curious, like today's world, if you're curious about AI, you will go and do 10, you'll work around with 10 apps and you will eventually build out something, right? Even like I'm fairly like oldish now, like I'm head HR, I don't really need to do apps. I've got 3-4 apps, right? I don't talk about them, but they're there, right? Now when I talk to people, I say, hey, use this app, use this app, use that. I've got people who've built it out for me. I didn't need to do that, but it's just I'm curious, I've built it, right? Now, a kid, I've seen someone who can build 10, 12 apps. Trust me, they're going to get a call back, right? Or maybe that person has done something, I'm not, forget tech. Maybe that person has gone and played, like you said, you represented the basketball team. You're still playing basketball. You're part of some state level teams, right? People will want to hire those people. There was a team person I hired. Purely based, that person was playing a sport which I've never heard of. I think, what is this sport? And that person was is representing India in some sport, obscure sport, right? That person wasn't great technically or anything, but I interviewed. The person was amazing, right? And that person now is working with the Tatas, like in the span of 3-4 years, he's ended up working in Tata now. Right?
Lovely. I would like to add here one instance coming here. So LimeRoad, if people here know, do you know what about LimeRoad, the brand?
The marketing
the D2C brand.
Yeah.
Okay, so उनकी जो the founder है उसका नाम सूची है and she has a criteria. जो भी उसके top leaders हैं, एक तो of course I top B school से आएंगे, but they need to be in a sports team. If they're in a sports team, whatever money they want, they get it. Like that's the criteria she had. So of course top B schools plus they need to play a sport. Only then she'll hire them. And they had like salaries above 50 lakh rupees and all of that. So of course this is a very sensitive information I'm sharing, but this is how people do, and this is just an XYZ example I'm giving. It happens across the board. So what extra are you bringing is what I think Ranaq is trying to tell here, that और क्या कर रहे हो, what that tinge of extra. You know what I tell them, Ranaq, in my community, there's a concept called hero story. ठीक है, the way I told you my story, right? As a marketer, I have a marketing community, right? As a marketer, one thing is of course what's extra you can do. and we have that 10x rule. But usse pehle ek hai hero story. What is your freaking story? Because until unless I don't have my story, I will not be able to go and sell Work India story, right? So that's something also we have. But great. I hope all of you are taking notes of what Ranaq is saying. I hope this is, of course I'll share the recording and I'll do the reels and cutouts, but I really want all of you to take notes, as this will really help you in your next set of interviews, finding jobs and all of that. But I want to go a little bit apart from the script, if that's okay. And you mentioned that you started something with your friend which was based out of referrals, getting interviews and getting jobs via referrals. Would you like to share a bit on what success you found there, what you did, and what were your learnings, which something our community can take off or our viewers can learn?
Yeah, so success wasn't that much, but there was a lot of learnings. So it was a very simple thing, right? So today, when you're hunting for jobs, another little hack is I'll tell you how recruiters are bombarded. Right? Every day, my team opens. They show me their ATS. ATS is the tracking tool. There are at least 100 to 200 CVs that are lying there, right? Now, if somebody is not using any AI, all of that, they're going through 100 to 200 CVs. It is not even possible to go through all of them. It is the reality. There are many CVs that get missed. That is why you have all of these tech tools that are coming that make sure that through keywords and all of those CVs don't get missed. But it does get missed, right? Now, how do you cut through that noise, right? It's a simple thing of cutting through the noise and directly going to the source is through referrals. If you know somebody there, ideally somebody senior, even better if you know the recruiter's boss, like usse better there's no option, or the CEO of course, directly go to that person. So that's what the advice I give people. Don't blindly apply on Naukri and LinkedIn and all of that. You're just throwing darts, right? Ideally, put a little bit of effort, connect with the recruiter or connect with the recruiter's manager or connect with if it's a small startup, connect with the founders. Just genuinely connect, talk to them once and then say, hey, this is a position that I saw and I would be a good fit. Can you, put in my CV, right? Trust me, your CV will get seen. Now it's up to the recruiter and all of that to see whether you're a match or not, right? That's an amazing hack that exists even today. Now, what we saw the problem back then, the problem today also, is that there is no portal where you go and you see all the jobs posted by employees of companies. Let's say you work in Accenture. Accenture has 20 positions in your team. You go and post it somewhere, and then there are a lot of people who come and apply to it, and then you filter out who's the best and then refer them to Accenture. Right? Today what happens is friend of friend, you have to have a network. That's the problem I was trying to solve. The problem existed back then, the problem exists still today. The only reason why you don't have a large company doing it is because the point of reference is trust, right? Somebody whom you do not know. Ideally, if you again working in Accenture, you are very unlikely to take people you don't know uska CV and refer, right? Most people do, but you are unlikely. And the HRs of Accenture also will not really want you to refer random people. They want you to refer your friends. That's why I went back to the first statement that build a little bit of trust and then go and ask for a referral. Don't blindly DM somebody and say, hey, can you refer my CV, right? Trust me, that person gets 50, 60 of such messages. I get 20, 30 messages every day, please refer, right? I don't have the time to refer, nor do I have the intent, but I will get one or two messages who message and say, hey, I want to understand this from you, I want to learn this from you, I have a doubt. I will spend 5 to 10 minutes talking to that person, and it has happened. That person has said this, and after 2 to 3 weeks, they said, hey, there's this position, right? I understood what they were doing, but I appreciate the hustle, appreciate the effort they do, and I referred that person, right? So anyway, that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to build a platform. And you working in X company, come and post the job. There are job seekers will apply, you will shortlist, and you as the person from Accenture is an example, will pick up whoever is the best candidate and refer back to your company. Now the problem here is, how do you make money? That is why you don't have companies who monetize this, because it is very difficult to make money from here. Right? Your company will not really pay you. The guy who's getting referred will not even tell you. So your money making is a bit of a problem, and that is why I had to shut down, because there was no real way to make money. We did fairly well, but what I learned was, of course, when you start your own thing, right? You learn first. I didn't learn coding, but I definitely learned how to make product, how to make wireframes, because I did it. Then I had to learn how to do marketing, right? I'm not saying I was very good at it, but I at least learned how to do that. I learned networking. But most importantly, that got me into the door with a lot of HRs. I learned HR bhi kuch hai, right? Recruiting bhi kuch hai. And through that, I got into my jobs and all of that, and then more and more senior jobs, right? So, like Steve Jobs said, right? Looking forwards, you cannot connect the dots, but looking backwards, you'll be able to connect the dots. And today, I connected the dots that happened, then this led to this, then this led to this, and this led to where I am today. Right?
Absolutely.
So my learning is that if you have something, it might get tricky, but then just go ahead and do it, because the cost of doing may be very short term, but the benefit of that is very long tail. Right? You will eventually win if you really take the courage and effort and do something, because 99.9% people don't do anything. That's I think that would be my largest learning. And another one is, it's better to understand the world a little bit before getting into it. I would look at it that way. Today, if I make this product, if I make any product, let's say in the world of HR and people, I'll probably make a much better product where I can make money. And because I know the function now. Back then I didn't know anything of the function and I made a lot of stupid, silly mistakes. But okay, that can be solved. Today there's enough knowledge, but I'm saying 10, 12 years back, all that knowledge wasn't there, right? So I just did it and I didn't know a lot of things, right? So that would be my learning broadly.
Lovely. Thank you so much, because like you said very well, all the dots connect. My grandfather used to say, मेहनत कभी भी waste नहीं जाती, कि मतलब कि तुम पत्थर भी तोड़ोगे ना. Like I was just sharing why I was sharing about farming, because two months we did farming, we sowed the seed, we saw that. I'm still a very impatient person, right? But I learned patience through that. मतलब कि कैसे होता है, as a 20-year-old you're just highly impatient. But everything, मेहनत कभी waste नहीं जाती. और उसके लिए मैं सिर्फ ये कह रहा हूँ, there are a lot of people in my paid community and in my free community, they come to me and they say ये नहीं हो रहा, वो नहीं हो रहा. मैंने पूछा तुमने try भी नहीं किया अभी. That HR is not replying. How many HRs did you message to? 2, 4. Like, I'm not saying you have to go to thousands, but like he said, make sure you're finding the right people. You have the intent to go, and person in front of you is smart. They know that you're building relationships because you want a referral or something from them, right? But they will respect that hustle, because वो भी तो वैसे ही पहुँचे हैं. सभी वैसे वहीं पहुँचे हैं. I got jobs through referral, through going do that. Ranaq got by building relationships, doing some free work, something for somebody, and that's how he got a referral, that's how he got in. This is the rule of the jungle. This is the part of the game. Awesome. The next is, how do you personally try to understand a person who aligns with the company's culture, right? The whole goal here is to understand how a top HR like you hires. कि आप कैसे exactly समझ रहे हो उसका intention और उसका सामने वाले का intention to get hired.
Yeah, so see, we didn't double click on culture. Like, let's just connecting the dots from the last question, right? That when skill becomes a commodity, the stuff that you're doing extra becomes important. Now that is there to get you through the doors. Right? You will get your CV spec, then you come to interviews, you do a bunch of interviews. Nowadays, most companies, I would say all companies, at least companies, worthwhile companies, have a last round of culture round. Don't mistake thinking that your culture is being checked only in the last round. It is throughout the journey where you are fit in the company's values and ecosystem. Do you have the same set of beliefs, right? Is being checked. Now, why is that? Because, and this is more applicable for small early stage startups, right? High growth startups. And equally important for very large companies, because understand one thing, the cost of a hire to an HR to a company is very high. The cost of a wrong hire is double of that. Because if you hire somebody who doesn't fit, that person you let go in a month, your whole effort is gone and you have to do the whole thing again. It's the worst thing. It's better not to hire than hire a wrong person. And trust me, HRs and the people team, we hate it. And the CEOs, everybody hates it, right? If you look at the math, it is almost like 2 times somebody's salary. That's the effort and cost that companies go through if you hire somebody incorrectly. So people are very skeptical of hiring incorrect. Tech is your skills are easy to see. Your culture is a little difficult, right? So understand one thing, you're the way you are presenting yourself, what you believe, what you're saying, what you're not saying, how you present yourself, the energy you bring, right? All of that is being checked in all of the interviews. And it all culminates to the last round where broadly in our company, mostly it will be someone senior in HR who's taking the last round of culture interview, right? But it is not an isolated event. All the interview feedbacks are being checked. You'll have a panel discussion before that. But how is this person, right? Okay, आप तो बोल रहे हो skill is all okay. but how does that person? Is that person cocky? Is that person, against our values? So how most companies will do is they'll have a set of values, right? Every company has a set of values that they believe in. And all of this is public information. If you go to any company's website, you will find the 7, 8, 5, 6 values that they believe in. And people make fun of HRs that way, that, oh, values are there on the wall, it's just images. It's not, trust me. At the time of hiring, values become very important. So first thing first, try to go through the website and understand what the values of the company are, right? Then honestly, very honestly ask yourself, do you align with those values? If you don't, let's say for our company, humility is a value, right? Now, I don't think anybody will say, oh, I am not humble, right? But at the back of your mind, you might think that, oh, okay, I am not so humble. I like to show off, right?
I want to interject here because I want to take this. मेरे को और आपके deep जाना है, which is, can you explain some questions which you use to check humility? Because it's also personally for me, and I'll tell you why I'm asking this later. But any questions, any parameters, some psychometric test or whatever?
Yeah, so see, many companies do it differently. Some companies will do a psychometric test. They'll do nowadays with AI, you can do a video psychometric test where I don't know, there'll be some very intelligent question they ask, and you can't lie there, right? But what most companies nowadays do is, if the person is experienced enough, they will ask a set of questions. They will observe you and they'll try to understand. So a question for me is, you will not even understand you're asking of humility, right? It will be a question around on, say, let's say you're a manager, right? It will be on a question on, hey, talk about a time when you made a mistake, right? At work. How did you approach that mistake, right? We'll try to understand that when you made that mistake, did you try to hedge it? Were you not open about it? Or what you were looking for, you made the mistake. You went and told that to your manager, you went and told that to your team, you were honest with your team that, hey, look, I made a mistake, right? Because that's a sign of humility, right? If you are making mistakes, you're not shy, right? If you're doing something that shouldn't be done, you have the humility to be open about it and say, hey, I made a mistake, right? There are many questions. I'll give you guys one hack. I shouldn't say this, but when you look at the values, pick up the values, go to ChatGPT, and give the prompt to ChatGPT that can you come up with culture-related interview questions to check for those values. And there is a good probability that the recruiter has also done that. We don't do it, but there's a large probability that the recruiter would have asked ChatGPT and come up with a set of questions. And there's nothing wrong with that. And prepare yourself for that, right? Anyway, coming back. So there are questions like that, Lakshit, where we will try to understand those core values through a completely unrelated question, right? Let's say empathy. In empathy, we will ask about, tell me a time that your team member was feeling bad, right? There was something they were going through, and you got to know of it. What did you do? Right? We'll get into the stories like, oh, this happened. I did this, I did that, I helped out, I covered that person's back, right? I did the person's work and then I gave it to the person took credit, or I didn't take credit for that work. That is like great empathy, right? You are empathizing that someone is going through something, right? Versus if the person says that, yeah, there was somebody who was feeling bad, it's okay, I took their work, yeah, I got promoted and all that. That's not empathy, right? That's years of experience culminating into it, but those are the set of rounded questions that come to you. So my advice would be this: you can't really fake these things, right? You are who you are. It's more a matter of feel than trying to talk about it. That's why I think it's very important to actually go read the values. And honestly, I know it's a bad job market, but there's no point in trying to go and work in a company where you don't align with the values at all, right? Like the company has 5 values, you don't even understand them and you feel like, ye kya hai? Trust me, you're probably not going to crack those interview rounds. If you do, you're joining a company to stay for 2 to 3 years. Think of the experience you'll have in that company where the company values don't align completely with you, right? For example, if you're working in a remote company, the expectation might be that you actually have to work at very odd hours. You'll have to wake up in the middle of the night and all of those things, and you have to be available for calls, because remote sounds very fancy on paper. It sounds very amazing, but it's not. You actually end up working more. Now, those are the values that the company expect. You are saying you don't align with this, but you still get in, and you're like, fuck, sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear.
You are.
But you're like, fuck man, I'm waking up in the middle of the night. The manager expects this always from me. I always have to be in front of the computer, right? Those are just values mismatch. So it's not a great place to be when you are working somewhere where you don't align with the ways of working and the values. So first step, read it. If you really believe in those values, I would suggest go ahead only then, and be very honest and transparent in the interviews, right? Try to give as many examples of how you demonstrated those values in your real life, right? Because you have, if you believe in something, you have done something in your life to show that, whether it is your past job or your life. And that's how the recruiters broadly understand, okay, this person actually genuinely believes in those values.
Lovely, lovely. This is so good. Just sharing this 9 days, abhi 10th hai na? Haan. In these 10 days, we had to terminate 4 people. 4 people. I don't have a big team. I had a team of 10 people, but abhi usme se 4 gaye hain. And that also was just because of this. I wish I could show you that one message. She was one of my success advisors. She said that I don't think I'm the right fit for the companies and their values, because they had a very deep and heart-to-heart conversation with one of my managers, and everybody was like, what? So everybody's like, yeah, Lakshit अच्छा entrepreneur नहीं है, Lakshit के values नहीं, culture नहीं है. I'm like, it happens guys, it happens. A lot of time when you are trying to go and achieve something, the first few hires of a founder is also not right. And a lot of times HRs also don't know whom they're hiring. And this might be contrary, that's why the cost of bad hire is coming. Because the company is clear, but the HR sometimes they don't know. Like for example, one HR cannot go hire for the best accountant, or for the best digital marketer, or for the best creative role, or for the super highly AI ML tech role, right? It's very impossible to deeply understand that. That's why one more point I wanted to add in what Ranaq was saying, that please go and talk to the founder, talk to the category head, the business head, or whoever the manager's manager is, because they might be able to understand you, right? And like I run a recruitment agency, and a lot of times we have to send resumes, right? But we have a criteria on how we can pass on the resumes to the company. As I'm a marketer, I know that this person will do very well in the company, right? But because the criteria and his resume doesn't match, because stability नहीं दिखती, कभी-कभी ad spends नहीं दिखते, कुछ रह जाता, but you can do it because you know it as a marketer that हाँ ये कर लेगा, बस इसका ये resume ये checklist नहीं हो रहा है, so I'm not able to send it through as an agency or as an HR, and because they sometimes have a myopic lens, and that's why the networking and referral works brilliantly for people whose CVs are not the best, who have bad past due to personal reasons, or a career gap. So all of these things you can really skip by what he said was the referrals and building an actual relationship with other people.
So I'll tell you my things. Every role that I've taken post my decision to come to HR has been through reference. It has been through my network, through my peers, through my seniors, through my mentors. Right, that's also another great way. Everybody should ideally strive to have a mentor, right? And if a mentor is always more connected than you, and if a mentor passes on your CV, right, a lot of shortcomings. Now those shortcomings may be absolutely useless shortcomings, right? Like you said, this one thing is not matching. That one thing is really relevant.
Hello. Hi Ranaq, I think I can't hear you.
Some problem with lips.
Is it better now?
Now you're audible.
Okay, thank you Pooja. Pooja is also part of our community, very diligent member. Awesome. I'm so sorry I lost you for a bit.
Hey, cool. I was telling that everything that I have got has been through my mentors and peers, and always through referrals, always through networking, network. Okay, so never discount that. Like you said, a good network can hide irrelevant flaws. Right?
Yeah. I love how you said that. A good network can hide irrelevant flaws. I'm going to take that and I will quote you in my next post or something like that. Ranaq Sen, head of people at Work India. But I love this saying. If I use it again in front of you, Pooja, or anybody, Khushi from my community, guys, please know it's Ranaq and it's not me. I give credit where it's due.
Yeah, that's okay. It is what it is. It's the truth.
Lovely. Okay, I'll move on to our last question so that then we can open the floor to question answers to everybody, right? And this is my favorite part of the interview sort of conversation.
Mine too. Yeah.
Which is, what are your top 3 secrets, right? जो किसी को नहीं पता, that recipe which you would prepare, which you would like your top 3 secrets to be that culturally aligned guy which can get you into any door. What are those 3 things?
See, let me not answer just on culture.
Sure, and everything.
Make it overall, right? For me, it's been one, courage. The fact that I spent so many years of my life giving the second toughest exam in the country, and decided to do something else, and lost it all to the point I was bankrupt, and then came back in a field where I didn't know anything, started from scratch, and in a very short period moved up the ladder to now heading XYZ, right? I'm not saying I'm amazing, I've done great things, there are people who've done amazing things, but I've done fairly okay, right? And it's all because of the fact that I had the courage to take on something that I've never done before, that I had no idea, but then I back myself that I'll be able to do it, right? And every role, that's also something that I tell my people who come to me for advice, that the way to really climb up is, if you take a role that is horizontal, you're only going to go here. If you take a role where you're going vertical, you're going up. And how to do that is do something that you've never done before. Convince the interviewers that you are good enough to do this and they should take a bet on you. You just moved up. You will move up in position, you will move up in money, you will move up in responsibilities. Now that's compounded, right? The next role that you take, make sure you again move up. Now imagine the compounding you've done versus if you're just taking jobs where you're going this way. Your money will go this way, your responsibilities go this way, your status will go this way, you'll keep going this way only, right? So, and that takes a lot of courage, right? Every role that I've done, I have no idea how it's done. I've told on the interviews that I have no idea, right? But I'll figure out, man. Because I've shown in the past that I've been able to figure out, right? So that the big one would be courage. And there, if you can actually do that, the first time you'll have to somehow get lucky, right? Somehow convince a bunch of people. Post that, you'll just keep doing, just back yourself with a lot of courage that you'll be able to do it. And you don't need to switch companies. You can actually do it in the same company itself, right? Let's say you're doing something and then you try to convince somebody that I want to do something more, right? And then that gives you the step jump. So for me, I think I lead with courage. That would be my number one. I'll give you my second one, which is a little contradictory, and that has actually come with age, is that I preach a lot of balance in life, right? It is contradictory to the hustle and courage and leadership that I spoke of. I'll tell you why, right? Because in my 20s, and in fact early 30s also, I didn't really understand balance. I didn't care about balance. I just went on and did everything, right? I was traveling 3 countries in a week, right? So basically you're literally on the airport all the time, right? Now you can do that, but you can only do that to a certain point where you crash and burn and your body gives out, right? And that happened to me. And your body gives out, your mind gives out. If you don't prioritize your health, if you don't prioritize your relationships, if you don't prioritize your family, if you don't prioritize your free time, sports, all of that, it will come back to bite you one day. And what it does is, once you prioritize everything, I think heart is the right emoji for this, you eventually see that your output becomes so much better, right? Because when you go to office, when you're working with a clear mind, with a happy mind, you have a good relationship at home, you have a good body, right? You don't have a bloated gut, you don't have a broken hand, you don't have a broken relationship. You are going to output so much more than when you go to office thinking of, oh, I had a bad relationship, I had a breakup yesterday, I ate 2 kgs of biryani, I'm shitting half the time, right? All of this adds up. Unfortunately, many companies don't understand it, but good thing is now companies are they are understanding this. They are prioritizing your mental health. They are prioritizing your physical health also, right? So for me, coming back to this, if you try to understand balance, now a lot of people mistake balance of thinking that work-life balance. Work-life balance is a very bad term. But people think it means, oh, at 6 o'clock I'll shut down my laptop and I won't work. That is not balance. That's in fact the opposite of balance. Balance is when you can prioritize what is needed to be done at that point in time, what is important, you give it that time and you move on, right? If you need to work, I have worked for 3 days straight, right? Straight, I didn't sleep for 3 days, right? But I knew it. I knew that if I do that after 3 days, after that I'm going to take 7 days off. I'm not even going to open my laptop. I'm going to sleep for 7 days, right? That is balance. Versus when my baby was born, I switched off. My laptop was shut for 3 weeks, just shut. I didn't do anything, right? Because I prioritized that balance and then I made sure that my team and everything is done in that way, right? So these are things that come up little later in life, you understand them, but if you try to incorporate them little early in your life, right, you will just find your productivity go so much up. Because when you have balance, when you're clear on mind, when you're physically healthy, your output just gets 10x, right? People talk about it. You'll see a lot of coaches talk about it. You think it's just useless, it's rara information. It's not. I have lived through it. I've seen people live through it. I've seen people who screwed that up. I've seen where they are. I've seen people who managed to bring it on track, and I've seen where they are today also, right? So I would end with those two very extremes. A lot of courage, and I didn't talk of bias for action and hustle and all of them because they are all part of that courage, right? If you have that courage, you will do anything and everything, right, to make it happen. But at the same time, have a lot of balance, give importance wherever it's needed, have a very good clarity of mind, take care of your health. You will have success in whatever you do.
Thank you so much for sharing the biggest thing, because this is not just about, let me see who all are there from my, okay, Sayam is here, Khushi is here. These are all from my paid community, right? Divya is here, and yeah. So all of them would know that the reason I'm taking their names is because they know that we have something called 5 non-negotiables, right? और उसमें से 3 non-negotiables हैं कि 1, you got to pray every day, right? In your respective religion and spiritual and those practice. This is also in my office also we have this. We start every day 9:30 with 5-minute meditation. Just like we started this meeting, I think you joined a minute late, but we were just meditating from 10:50 to 11:05, right? So we meditate, we go to the gym, right? We make sure that is, we take therapy or whatever is required, right? And I really want to spend 1 minute talking about work-life balance again, right? Like he said, I'm iterating it again and I'm repeating, Ranaq, work-life balance is not just working 9 to 5 or Monday to Friday. That's just bad definition. Or hustling randomly, staying in your office till 10 p.m. is also not right, because I know a lot of people who are in office from morning to evening 3-4 घंटे तो टीटी खेल रहे हैं, एक सुट्टा ब्रेक जा रहा है जिसमें बॉस की बिचिंग हो रही है, राइट? दे जस्ट वेस्टिंग देयर टाइम लॉइटरिंग अराउंड, KPIs मैच नहीं हो रहे, एंड देन दे गेटिंग फायर्ड बिकॉज ऑफ XYZ रीजन एंड दे आर लीविंग अनहैपीली. Guys, work-life balance is when what is needed you are able to do it, and you are able to also ask for a leave, right? There would be courage required from Ranaq also that, hey, I just became a father and I want a 3-week leave. If you want to do a pay cut, if you want to do whatever you want to, I will take a 3-week leave, whatever it takes, because this is the most precious moment of my life, right? This is the kind of conversation I'm just imagining Ranaq must be having with his own managers and all. And he is the one who's making the culture. Now, since he was able to do it, now more people in his under his team will also can do it. When they know that they have a baby, they'll be able to do it. But now the opposite here is, when the work is required to be done, Ranaq does it, and the other people will also do it, because they know boss तो कर रहे हैं, जब उनको छुट्टी चाहिए उनको मिल रही है, लेकिन जब काम चाहिए वो करके दिखा रहे हैं, उनकी performance up है, work India is growing, we are happy, XYZ is happening. So become that employee, become that person. Don't just say it. Please go against hustle culture. Look for what is actually work-life balance and figure out your own definition. Sometimes you want to start at, sometimes I start work at 5 a.m. and I finish it by 2 p.m. right? And that is my work-life balance. Yesterday I took off on Wednesday. राइट सिर्फ मैंने आपके पॉडकास्ट के लिए सिर्फ मैंने टाइम रखा था और उसके लिए आई वाज ऑन ऑफ, आई वाज लाइक आई जस्ट हैव अ गुड कन्वर्सेशन विद हिम एंड आई वांट टू टेक इट ऑफ, बट दैट इज़ माय वर्क बैलेंस. अभी मेरे को सैटरडे संडे दोनों काम करना है. टुडे आई हैव अ फुल डे, आई हैव पैक्ड डे. 10 o'clock आई हैड एन इंटरव्यू वेयर वी आस्क्ड सम क्रेजी क्वेश्चंस व्हिच आई विल शेयर विद all of you later, but this is your own life, guys. Even in a corporate setup, you have a lot of things to tweak and go around. With that being said, I would like to open the floor. It's 10:53. Ranaq, we'll go. I think 10 minutes हम extra लेंगे आपके.
Yeah, sure.
11:15 max. We'll close it. Guys, the floor is open for question answers. Feel free to ask any and everything to Ranaq about whatever problems you're facing. You can go like ask personal.
Can I go here?
Type. Sayam. Sure, go for it.
Cool. Hi Ranaq, how are you?
Yes, I'm doing well.
Great. Ranaq, giving you a little bit of background, I'm from digital marketing, and so I've been a very active freelancer since I basically started working in this field. And when I got my job, apparently I didn't have a lot of projects, but right now I have a lot of projects and I've quit my job. The thing is now when I'm looking for a new job, I am sort of in a dilemma of how do I showcase my work experience as a full-time employee and how I showcase my experience as a freelancer. Because the thing is, I have achieved, you can say, good results in both of the areas. Right? So as a job as well, I've achieved good results, and the same goes for my freelancing. Now my question is, when I'm, showcasing and or telling these sort of things to a company, some of the companies take freelancing as a negative sign. They would say that the guy is moonlighting or whatever. Although my idea is completely different. But how do I evaluate? How does the HR take a freelancing experience? Would they appreciate it because it allows the person to go out from their comfort zone and explore new ventures, try new ideas, which the company would genuinely not try, right? Or should I refrain from sharing these insights? I just want to get your take on it because it's a burning question I have.
Got it. So, just one clarifying question. When you were saying freelancing, you were doing that while you were working a full-time job, or was it separate?
So, some of the work I was doing while I was working full-time, right? Because I've been working with them since my college, these days. So yeah, some of this, but yeah, most of my freelancing work now is after I've quit my job. So yeah.
Got it. So it's a no-brainer that the ones that you've done post your full-time job, please showcase it, put it everywhere, put the links, so just give the outcomes, right? I have done X and here is the outcome, right? You can put the links of the outcome if you're allowed to. Put all of them there. The tricky part is like you said, what about the ones that you were doing while you were doing a full-time job? I would still say put it. So I'll tell you, there are two kinds, right? There are two kinds of people. One, who go by the book, who say, oh, that person did moonlighting, that person is bad without even talking to that person. There is the second kind of person, me. I would look at it, I would appreciate the hustle, I would appreciate the work that person has done. While the person was moonlighting, as you call it, I would want to have a conversation with a person and understand that was it allowed, right? Did your company okay it, right? Or were you doing it on your free time? So I would say work done, please put it across. There is no downside to hedging work that you've done because most people don't do the work. You've done the work, please put it, and just hope, right? I know it's not the greatest answer you're looking for, just hope that you come across people who appreciate it more than people who disappreciate it. Recruiters, junior recruiters who are screening your CVs will not appreciate it. They'll not get it, right? So again, back to the same thing. Try to go and talk to senior people. Try to go and try to network because trust me, they'll appreciate it. They don't give a damn, right, about whether you've done moonlighting or not, right? They like, "Ye banda kaam kiya hai, I want to talk to this person." Fuck the recruiter. They will talk to you, right? So I would tell you go for that.
Right, but I think Ranaq, what Sayam is trying to reach is how to show it in your resume. If I'm right.
Yeah, exactly. Because so I'm also applying for jobs abroad, and most of them ask for a CV, right?
Right.
So before the conversation, they always ask for something. So how do I put it there?
Like self-employed, likhe, kaise likhe? Yeah.
So put it as the work done, like under your experience. Just put it as work done. You'll have full-time experience in freelancing gigs. This is a
Okay, like a separate section you were saying.
Yeah, put it a separate section. This is where I've done, this is what I've done, this is the link. Just work done, outcome. If you're allowed to put the outcome, please put it. Otherwise, just put about work done, right? Make it as two parts of your CV, full time and freelance. Bindas dalo, like it is very okay to put your freelancing work in your CV.
Any better words apart from freelance can we use? Consulting, self-employed.
Yeah, put it as consulting experience.
All
Oh, okay.
Right, so try multiple things, right? Don't make one CV, by the way, first of all. Make 2-3 CVs. Tweak your CV for the job that you're applying, by the way. People make one CV and just put it across. Like, that just shows lack of effort. Make 2-3 CVs. Tweak. So heavily indexed, now you have AI. Ask AI to tweak it for you. Whatever that JD is, tweak your CV a little bit to suit that JD, right? And put all of the work under, call it consulting experience. That's a good one.
Cool. Also, a question out of curiosity, as you are also working, at the recruiting side and you receive hundreds of CVs, are you able to read and tell which CV was, probably tweaked by AI? Are you able to do that at this point of time?
I would be, but I don't think my team is there yet. I'm not I'm not just beating my own drum. It is because I've been using GPT before GPT-3. So there are those telltale signs of double hash, those words that they use, right? There's a lot of words that GPT uses, but if someone cleans up all of that, it's going to be very difficult for me to understand. But I think the question is flawed. Honestly, it doesn't matter if the AI has written it, right? Please use the AI to write it. Ultimately, it must be the truth. Now, the truth is the truth, right? Now, if basis that CV, if you come for an interview and you see that that person is basically lied on the CV, then that person gets blacklisted, right? So it doesn't matter who's written it, what is written. As long as it's the truth, it is irrelevant how it is written. It just has to be written in a decent word. Nowadays, a lot of people say optimize your CV for ATS and all of that. That's true. You have to do that. You have to put your keywords, because ultimately people are mostly running it through an algorithm, right? And if the algorithm doesn't pick up keywords, your CV is not even going to come, right? But for a recruiter, for me, honestly, we don't really care whether it's written by AI and all. As long as it's the truth and the person has done the work, the person has displayed outcomes in the CV. I keep saying outcomes. Show outcomes in the CV. Did X is not good enough. Did X achieved Y is how you should put points in the CV.
Right. And one last question from my end. One more thing. When you're applying to, let's say, Indian companies, do they appreciate work done in India or abroad? So because I work with clients who are mostly international, like that's my focus, who mostly acquire international clients. Apparently, my goal is also to get an international remote job. But when I showcase these my work in India, is it taken like in a well manner or not? Like, I'm just trying to understand.
So there's nuance there. If the Indian job needs Indian context, your Indian experience comes first, right? So Indian, let's say in marketing or sales, I'll give you a sales example, right? How you sell in India, a B2B company or a B2C SaaS product in India is very different from how you sell it abroad, because the mindset and the ways of work is different. So if the regional and those nuances are needed, then your international experience doesn't count, right? So if I'm hiring for a CAM, key account manager, to be based in, let's say, some remote part of Bihar, I know somebody who's worked and done CAM work for an international company will not be a good fit, right? So that nuance you have to understand. Look at what the position says. If the position is too nuanced for India, your international experience will not be counted that much, right? But if it's a very generic role, if it is more international exposure required, which is happening today, we're going global, right? Then those things become super important, right? Then people will actually want people with international experience and somebody who's done CAM work in some remote part of, I don't know, Calcutta or somewhere, right? That is irrelevant. I want people who actually had international experience. So go by what the role is asking for and tweak your CV accordingly.
Lovely, very well answered.
Like your example, I was also a CAM, by the way, so I totally relate to it now.
Awesome. Thank you, Sam. One more question. I think Khushi, if you want to unmute yourself and ask, go for it.
Yes, definitely. So, sir, your journey is truly inspiring and clearly driven by both heart and insight. So, with all that you have experienced, what's one hiring myth you wish people would stop believing? And what's your personal non-negotiable when hiring someone?
Okay. There are many myths. Let me keep the thread of the conversation alive that we are talking about. One myth is which people think is the HR round does not matter. It is a useless round. ये तो ऐसे ही फालतू का round है. That's a myth. At least any good company you work for, the HR round matters. Why you see a lot of less rejections in that round is because you have come to that round mostly because those values and cultures, those things are aligned. You are a good fit, right? That's why you see a lot of less rejections from the HR round. That's why people take it lightly, right? People think the technical rounds where rejection ho jayega because you're checking the technicals, but like I said, you're also checking the other things, right? So that is a myth, and because of that, I've seen people just take these rounds very lightly. There's a joke in my company that the highest rejection comes from me. The culture round has the highest rate of rejection because anybody who takes it lightly, they don't take the values, they don't take the company seriously enough, right? And I outrightly reject, right? If somebody is not taking that round seriously, stop that interview and say you're rejected, you might be an IT guy, we don't care, right? You're not a good fit. So I think that's a myth. There are many others, but I'll stick to that. Be very, very certain and take this round very seriously, especially if you're seeing somebody senior hiring. That means understand that the company takes their culture and values very, very seriously, right? So take that round very seriously. By the way, I have been rejected in companies in the culture round because I didn't take the round seriously. This is when I was like 22, 23. And your second question is personal non-negotiable. Again, I know I'm saying the same thing again and again. But my personal non-negotiation is non-negotiable is if the person is not a nice person. Now, nice is a relative word.
बस ठीक है,
For me,
बस ठीक है, मेरे को बहुत अच्छा लगा. नहीं है nice, ठीक है, he's just not nice. Good.
Yeah, I mean, nice you can derive through your values, what you hold good and all of that. If you're not nice, you're not coming. And believe me, this holds good for most people who are senior in HR. You're not a good person, the person will understand and you're not going ahead.
Right. I just want to Khushi or to everybody who's listening here, see how personalized this is. अब nice की definition किशोर की अलग होगी, देवांशु की अलग होगी, संयम की अलग होगी, but रनक की यार nice नहीं है. क्यों? क्योंकि वो तैयार होके नहीं आया, उसके बाल इधर उधर थे. Maybe he's the kindest guy, he's doing 100 NGO contributions or whatever, right? But at that moment you have to take it seriously and appear actually nice. This is a very human हार्ट टू हार्ट गेम गाइज. मतलब आप किसी के घर में घुस रहे हो और उनसे पैसे भी लेने वाले हो. प्लीज थिंक इट लाइक दैट एंड दैट्स हाउ यू कैन गेट दोज काइंड्स ऑफ जॉब्स आई वाज सेइंग. एंड अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल, द रीजन आई एम अगेन रीइटरेटिंग दिस इज बिकॉज अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल व्हेन दे गो कि अरे HR राउंड है, हो जाएगा, दे डोंट अंडरस्टैंड दैट उसने पूरी वैल्यू सेट करी है. अगर कल को कुछ खराब होता तो इट्स ऑन द HR that you didn't hire the right person. आपको ये सब देखना चाहिए था कि स्टेबिलिटी नहीं है, गालियाँ देता है, ऐसे बिहेव करेगा. So please take these rounds seriously and understand the game. Like the Harvey Specter says, I don't play the game, I play the man. Please play the man. Please understand the person right sitting right in front of you. Devanshu, go for it. You can ask.
Thank you so much.
Devanshu, are you?
Yes. Okay. So my question is moreover like I have multiple experience in multiple lines, from AR to recruitment, then HR, then from HR to media buying. So at times it's really hard for me to explain why this transition happened and why there were so many switches and growth and the values. So how I can represent in a better way that they should believe in me and they should hire me.
So who's the they? Is it the hiring manager or is it the HR?
I would say
who's the
HR and the manager, I would say. As I have at least 15 years of experience, so it's been a long journey.
So again, help me understand. So how many switches and what was your average tenure wherever you're working?
I would say switches are not so many. It would be like 6 to 7. But yeah, the lines I have changed. Moreover, I started my career with Genpact as an AR and AP application executive. Then I moved on to US staffing, as a recruiter. Then from there, I moved on to HR because I wanted a day shift. Then from HR, I used to have a hamper of time spared. So, the company owner, they said, I asked them for more work. So they said, we have something related to Facebook ads. So if you have extra time, you can start doing this. So I started doing this. Then eventually, we saw profit coming out of it. So they said, okay, hire a new HR and start doing this only. So, maybe I would say my payout is not very great right now. That is the reason I want to switch, and I want to get paid what I really do for that.
Got it. So, see, I'll be brutally honest here because I don't think sugarcoat is something anybody appreciates just because we are here in this forum. There is something called compounding. Compounding gains, I'm sure you're aware, right? Everybody is aware of compounding interest. Everybody is aware of compounding of your finance values in your SIPs. But there is also compounding in your career. Right, let me explain. When you spend X amount of years, you compound, that becomes X plus 1, X plus 2, X plus 3. There's an exponential compounding that happens when you spend enough time in a certain, not a role, but in a certain function, right? There is no going back from that, and I'm sorry to say that, right? The compounding within a function is the truth, right? The more time you spend in a certain function, the more you grow, and like I said, if you are growing this way in the same function, you're still compounding, but you'll probably be this way. If you're taking those step downs, your compounding is this way, right? But the moment you move out to another function, you've broken the compounding and you started again, right? You do not go down to zero, you come a little bit below. Now, why I'm telling you this? Because it is the truth, right? It is what it is. You have to be very aware what you do next. Do you want to break the compounding that you're doing now in search of a better pay? I don't think that's the right way to do it. You should compound in what you're doing currently, right? Because the past is the past. What happens is once you compound enough, and mostly 8 to 10 years of experience is when you compounded in a certain function, your past becomes irrelevant, right? So for me, I'll tell you, my CA experience now gets counted as part of my overall experience. It wasn't happening when I was 3-4 years because people were looking and saying, oh, you've just got 3-4 years of experience, right? My past was being discarded, but beyond a certain point, your past becomes part of experience because beyond a certain point, you become a manager, you become a leadership, then the years of experience matters, right? So don't let go of compounding. Now, I don't know your scenario, I'm just giving you an offhand answer. But if you can compound in the certain function, if you can double down, if this is what you like to do, if there is a chance that you want to spend the rest of your life doing this, and you spend 4 years in it, double that time to 8-9 years, then you will see magic happen, right? Your pay will increase. But you've got to give it some time for the compounding to kick in, so that people don't just look at your 4 years of experience and pay you. Today they are looking at the 4 years of experience and paying you for that, right? Give it, I know it's a tough answer, but give it double of that, give it another 4-5 years, then that automatically wipes out, you become very senior, right? And then your last 15 years, 20 years of experience at that time automatically, magically will come in, right? That would be my answer. Now, how to explain the jumps you have made? There has to be a good story, right? When I started, I told you a story. It's not a story, it's the truth. Right? It is the truth that I found a problem and I left what I was doing to solve that problem. It is the truth that I came down to zero. It is the truth that I fell in love with this. They're all truths, but they're all stories, right? I weave it into that story. And then when you tell stories, people get lost in the stories, right? And then sort of that becomes an interesting journey. And I weave in how did I learn? What did I learn in my, like, how did my entrepreneurial experience help me, right? What did I learn there? How did I utilize that in the next role that I took, right? I did this. How did I learn from that role in the next role that I took, right? I've always actually done that. I just weave it in a good story. That would be your only way out, right? You have to storytell your experience, showcase the learnings from your past, how that has been leveraged for the future, right? To sort of fix that gap. But broadly, be very careful of breaking compounding because it's not advisable to break compounding beyond a certain point in your life. You could have done this if you were like, 3-4 years of experience, but beyond a certain point, it's not advisable to do that.
Understood. Thank you.
Devanshu, do you remember we had the conversation and I said the same thing.
Yes,
I said,
exactly.
so Devanshu and I had a conversation, I think a couple of 10, 15 odd days back. And I said the same thing. Your hero story will solve your problem. And the way you accept your flaws, right? That's how it is. Like Devanshu, कभी-कभी ना क्या होता है, mirror खराब नहीं है. यहाँ पे खराब है, उसको ठीक करना है. Mirror को साफ करने से कुछ नहीं होगा. So we need to really build a good story and pride and take ownership. Like Ranaq is telling me I started a referral business or something like that and it didn't work out. But I learned hundreds of the things I got to know about HR. I got to know about recruitment. मैं sandwich stall में fail हुआ, मैं Amazon में fail हुआ और 100 जगह पे fail हुआ और फिर कर आके अभी कुछ experiences से मेरा recruitment बन रही है. अभी 10 days back I had to let go 4 people. How cost of bad hire is too high. Right? And I'm a very small company. I'm a very, very, very small company. And for me, 4 people going is the world going for me. Right? So these are the things you learn from it. Take pride on it and take the next jump. I know where.
Can I ask?
Give me 1 second. I know exactly where you are, Devanshu. And your next step, because I'm saying it very seriously, your next step will only happen once you have a good story and you move courageously, like the point number 1 mentioned by Ranaq. So you need to have that courage. You need to have that story and sit in front of the right people. That's all. Yes. Who was the next person?
Thanks, Rana.
Who was the next?
Lakshit, hi, Amber. Yeah.
Hi Amber, please go for it.
Yeah. So my question is कि like जैसे आपने भी बोला कि that you did all of those things, freelancing किया, then dropshipping किया. So I'm in the same verge or same zone. So मैंने freelancing भी किया, served clients India and abroad. उसके बाद फिर dropshipping start किया and I sold around 10,000 products. So I did good last year. But क्या हो रहा है problem with me is मुझे एक mentorship question है मेरा कि मुझे एक problem face हो रही है कि मैं consistent कोई चीज़ करता हूँ, then I see a dip and I figure out कि यार कुछ permanent job होता तो सही रहता because this is very uncertain, right? And I have never made CV. लक्षित मैंने आपसे शायद एक बार DM भी किया था कि मुझे CV बनानी है, can you help me out? So I had no clue कि मुझे कैसे वो CV बनानी है या क्या करना है because I did good, right? मैंने last year मेरा business from dropshipping was 1 CR and and with the freelancing it was good, like 50-60 lakhs. But still I invested somewhere and वो थोड़ा workout नहीं हुआ तो I wanted to figure out कि अब मुझे एक fixed source of income चाहिए, which is like that is my question. Like, how do I go about it?
You have my access. You have my access after this conversation as well. That's why I want to push this conversation to Ranaq. Ranaq, why don't you answer it? Because I can always have a one-on-one with Amber.
So now I won't say been there, done that, but I can tell
almost
this side of the story that it's never a roller coaster on this side also. Like fixed income to aa jayega, but the fixed work doesn't happen. Your roller coaster is throughout life. Life is a roller coaster. Right? Life is never fixed. Your relationships, your health, everything is a roller coaster. As is work. You will have your good days. You will have your bad days. You might get laid off. By the way, the chances of getting laid off is far worse than than a bad day in your business because that is completely in your control. This is not in your control, right? You might be the greatest performer in the world and I've unfortunately had to lay off in my last company some 300, 400 people. It's the worst thing. Some of the best people got laid off. Why? It is the business, can't help it, right? So there's always ebbs and flows, roller coasters through life. I don't know, coming for a full-time role for a fixed income, I don't know, right? I think Lakshit is a better person to answer that, but may not be the greatest way to look at it because that ebbs and flow will happen here. Your business will probably take off one day and one good month in your business might be equal to 11 months of shit in a bad job, right?
Yeah,
so
I agree.
that's a balance.
Yeah. But I have this only problem which I'm facing right now is like hiring. For example, I'm all one man army. मतलब मैंने ड्रॉप शिपिंग जो लास्ट ईयर किया वो मैंने खुद से किया. I called every COD orders. Like हर order को मैं खुद call करता था. I used to do everything on my own. So hiring is a bit of a
hire someone, right?
No, but I'm not able to figure out कि मुझे वो कैसा बंदा क्योंकि it's I don't know what is that block. I don't know. I am not able to figure out. But I have to start somewhere. Like how do I go?
So I'll tell you one thing. Amber, one of the at least the good things that I have is I follow this one mantra is how do I make myself irrelevant. right? At my job, I want to make myself irrelevant to the point if I'm not there, things happen, right? In your business, ideally, you should also eventually try to make yourself irrelevant, that if you are not there, things don't stop, right? Today, if you're not there, things will stop. So keep that clarity in mind, that hiring is not offloading work. Hiring is not that you're giving away power. It is that the whole idea is so that you make yourself irrelevant, you free out your time so that your time can go into other places. Maybe you can do something else, right? Your time is valuable. The higher that you do, that for them, that menial work will mean a lot, which today seems menial work to you, right? And trust me, there is enough people out there, enough kids. How I go about it, like this app, right? I don't know how to code, but I have got like 5 or 6 people who free of cost want to work. Why? Because I've given them a good enough problem statement. They are kids in college, they are doing 3rd year. How is it a win-win for them? Even though I'm not paying them, they are going to show this in their CV. What I was just saying. That's what I told them. You guys, you come and do this. I will publish it. I will market it. It will be on the app store. You put it on your CV. Right? To your recruiter, you explain that, hey, I have an app which has 10,000 downloads. Right? Do you really want money? They're like, no, sir. I would love this. Right? It'll be a great thing for my CV. So it's a win for him. It's a win for me also because somebody is building an app for me, which otherwise would have cost me a lot of money. Now, am I being an asshole at this? No. Right? Am I taking advantage? No. I will put in word for that person. I will do a ref check for that person. Right? So there are enough people whom are wanting that opportunity. Think of it that way, that there are people out there who want that opportunity. You don't have to pay them. Right? Maybe you can do a percentage share or something. And just go out and talk to them and give opportunity to them and be very ruthless that if it's not working out, be very clear that it's not working out part ways. If it's working out, continue the relationship.
Yeah, that was the block only because क्या होता है कि dropshipping like लक्षित ने किया तो he knows कि एक month होता है जिसमें बहुत सारे orders आते हैं और you need someone कि यार मैं अकेले handle नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ and there are months जिसमें product is not working, you are testing out और फिर उस बंदे को salary देना and फिर
so listen, don't do it on a salary basis, do it on a revenue share basis maybe, or do it without cost because that is experience for that person. Don't abuse that person, don't make that person work too much so that the colleges are hampered. I was very clear that your college time is X. Please go and do that, prioritize that. Jab aap free ho, come and work on this. Right? That's how at least it works for me.
I would like to add this one thing. जिसमें for example अगर हमने कोई product run किया तो हमने ad run किया उसके बाद उसका product cost है उसका return cost है वो बहुत सारी चीजें cost involved है. So for example एक product है which is of 1,000 rupees उसमें हम हमारा investment around 400-600 rupees हो चुका है 400 to 600 rupees हमारा investment हो चुका है. अगर एक bad call अगर उसने client को handle नहीं किया for example मैं call कर रहा हूँ तो I'll make sure कि वो बंदा confirm करे या तो cancel करे. There is no in between. वो ऐसा नहीं कर सकता हाँ भेज दो and then that doesn't happen with me. But if someone is there जो call करेगा वो कुछ तो गड़बड़ कर देता है तो वो एक fear है. I'm not sure वो कैसे figure.
That's a classic sign of you wanting to hold on control to yourself.
Yeah. I agree.
I coach people in my company that way. Don't hold on control. You will make mistakes. Be open to that 1 or 2 hires will not work out. They will lose money, but then you will find that one person or bunch of person eventually till you make it a habit, right? So please let go of control. Don't hold on to control. Because if you hold on to control, it will be one person only and you'll run into this trouble, right? This is all leverage. Everyone that you hire is leverage. You're outsourcing your time. Every good hire is a great leverage, right? So be open to give control. Thoda करके start giving control over a period of time till you get trust from that person. Once you get trust from that person, you can give out most of your control. But make sure you are checking what that person is doing. But it's more of an internal thing. You have to align yourself that I am okay to give out control. Because if you aren't, then it will be one person army and then you'll never be satisfied and you'll look for a full-time job. Even if you look for a full-time job, you're still expected to be a manager there. You will need to have a team and you ultimately have to give out control there also, right? It's worse there because then there is somebody sitting on top of you, a manager who's reviewing what you do and telling you every day, "Ya tu kya kar raha hai?" Right? So life is never easy. It's tough on both sides till you figure out yourself and come to the realization that I have to let go of control, otherwise I'm going to be stuck.
Thank you so much. I'll make a note of it. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ranaq, for your time. Right, it means the world to us that you took out 1 hour, 2 hours, 1.5 hours and came down and blessed us with your presence. First of all, a lot of hearts and love and emojis for Ranaq. Ranaq, the only way we can say thank you to you is by giving shout outs on LinkedIn. That's our way of thanking you.